Hi there, Steve Kaufman here today to talk about language learning again, of course, and to talk specifically about managing your time management. Now, if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe, and if you like the video, give me a thumbs up if you want. First of all, why do I even do these videos, Or why do I spend so much time on language learning? It's because I like doing it. I enjoy learning languages. It gives me a lot. It fills my life with things that are interesting to me. I could be doing other things. Who knows why we devote ourselves to this or that activity. It's important, though, to think that what we are doing is worthwhile. Then we derive satisfaction from doing it. And that's certainly my approach to language learning. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy sharing my enthusiasm with others and sharing my experience with others. I probably spend more time on language learning than most people. So to that extent, what I do may be a valuable point of reference for others. So, managing our time. So I'm going to talk about 3 points, actually. Obviously, right now, where I'm committing myself to learning 3 languages every day, Arabic, Persian, and Turkish, time management becomes an issue. Otherwise, I'll just do one of these languages and run out of time to do the others, or won't find enough time to put any significant amount of time in any of them. So the first thing I've done is to make sure that I have some very specific, concrete goals. Not a general goal like I want to speak 3 languages, but rather specific goals. The number one goal I've set for myself is to create 100 links every day in each language. That means creating links. People ask, what does that mean? If you go to my website, the one that I use, that I co-founded with my son, lingq.com, you will see that the act of looking up a word that we have not seen before, which is highlighted in blue on the system, that is called creating a link. You then see a number of possible meanings for that word. It's then saved to your database, and a number of functions and assists to learning that word and learning the language are activated on the website. I did that the other day. I dropped my remote control for the, shouldn't leave it in my lap. So, concrete goals. Goal number 1 for me is create 100 links in each language. That means that once I reach 100, I go to the next language. So once I've gone through all 3 languages, at least I've covered that. So that's a concrete goal. The other goals are, the goals that I think drive language learning for me are creating links, that means you're forcing yourself into new material. You're discovering new material. You're not just staying with things that are easy and familiar. Because to find blue words you haven't seen before, you have to move forward into material you haven't read before. The second thing is the overall number of words you read is an important counter. So I do watch it. The sort of linking activity, creating these links, drives me, but I want to make sure that I read material where I've perhaps already gone through and created the links, but I'll read them again. And the third major driver of my language learning is listening. But the listening is much easier because I listen whenever I can. I don't deliberately sit down to listen. So I listen while doing the dishes, I listen in the car, I listen while exercising, I listen on the bicycle, and I listen. Now, of course, since I'm now doing 3 languages, if I look at my statistics, I find that my reading number, if I look over the last month, let's say, looking at my statistics in LingQ, and you can go to your profile and you see the sort of last week, last 2 weeks, last month, last 3 months, whatever you want to look at, you'll see what your level of activity has been. And I see that my number of links is off the charts because nobody is creating 300 links a day like I am. So that I'm well beyond the sort of targets that LingQ assigns. On my reading, I'm more or less keeping up to my target in each language. That means I'm reading a lot combined, but of course in each individual language, I'm more or less keeping up to the targets at LingQ. So about 15,000 words in each of those languages. When it comes to the listening, I'm doing less listening than is recommended because I'm dividing my listening up between the 3 languages. And the listening is usually just the dead time when I'm doing something else, and therefore I listen. So I have those goals. The driving goal is to create links, but I do follow my reading number and my listening number. The rest will take care of themselves, like converting links to known words. All of that will naturally increase as I continue listening, and reading. Because as I come across words that I've linked before, that I see for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 8th time, eventually I move them to known. So those are the goals. So that's point number 1 in terms of time management. Point number 2, be prepared to experiment. Find, which way of learning, which way of using your time works best for you. For example, when I started, I would just think of making sure that I save 100 links every day. And then I'd find that it would be 10:30 at night, and I'd look up my statistics, and I only had 50 links in Turkish or in Arabic. So then I'd have to sit there at 10:30 at night and go through material, which I don't really like to do. Because I like to, before going to bed, I'll read a book in English on something. I don't necessarily want to be under the gun to create 100 links at 10:30 at night. So what I've now decided to do is the first thing in the morning, I create my 100 links in each language. I have also decided that I am going to go through wherever I find material that has a lot of unknown words. I go through and I just link the blue words. I don't read the words in between because it takes too long, especially in Arabic and Persian, where I'm reading in the Arabic script, which I'm not very good at, so it goes very slowly. Turkish is a lot faster because it's written in the Latin alphabet. So I go through there. Before my wife gets up, I've gone through and I've knocked off 100 links created in each of 3 languages. Now I can relax. So I've got that behind me. Now that's something that I just started doing a week ago. We'll see how that goes. But so far I'm enjoying it. I think that's a good way to go. Then after that, I find time to read. And when I read, typically I'm going to find yellow words, previously saved links, where I now know those words. But I'm not setting myself a target. I'm just, when I come across them, I move them to known, or I move them from status 1 to status 2 or status 3. And by the same token, when I complete rereading a lesson, I make sure, if this is the, again, it's explaining how link works, but if I go through a lesson just linking, then the system thinks I've read that lesson. So if I read it a second time, I don't manually add reading. However, if I read it a third time, I might manually add the reading number. Although the manually added reading number is not counted in your activity index. Something to think of. So in a way, I'm cheating, because when I go through there creating those links, the system thinks I've read that article or that lesson, but I haven't. But then I make a point of going back to read again, listen and read, to make sure I go over that material properly and read it, because reading is very important. So I experiment. Now, it may be in 2 weeks that I find that there's some other combination of these activities that works better for me. But right now, I'm enjoying it, because I find that even going through and linking a bunch of new words, it is exposure to these words at some level. And then when I go back in later on, I pick up on, I've kind of gone over the same material a second time, this time through going through every word, whereas before I was just jumping word to word. And of course, a lot of this material is, for example, podcasts that I've downloaded. So then I listen to these. So I'm going over sort of the same material in different ways, understanding parts of it each time. But I do sense definitely that I hear the 3 languages more clearly. I am making more sense of these 3 languages. So far, I feel this is working. And that brings me to the third element of managing your time. So first of all, set yourself goals. Don't be afraid to experiment and to vary your activities. But third of all, whatever you're doing, try to enjoy it and try to believe that what you are doing is worthwhile. I believe that what I am now doing is worthwhile, that it is working, that I am improving, that I understand these podcasts when I listen to them much better than I did before. That's my impression. I feel good about what I'm doing. I don't wish I were doing something else. I don't wish that I were, I don't know, reviewing words in a Anki deck or whatever. However, if you like reviewing words in an Anki deck, make sure you enjoy doing that and that you believe that that is worthwhile doing. So, managing your time, a part of that is also to feel that whatever activity you're committed to doing or whatever method of learning you use, you think that's a good use of your time. You feel happy about what you're doing. I think that's an important element of managing your time. Sort of staying in the moment and thinking that this is where I want to be and this is what I want to be doing. So there you have it. That's my little spiel with reference to my own experience on managing your time as a language learner. Again, if you would like to receive my 10 emails on 10 tips on language learning, please click on the button here on the screen, and I look forward to your comments. Bye for now.